My postcard today is from Port Marion, highlighting Castell Deutraeth in Merioneth. Port Marion was designed and built by Sir Clough Williams Ellis, and the ancestral thread is carried on by his grandson, Robin Llewellyn.
He was a practicing architect who built for clients, but at Port Marion he was the client. He was also the paymaster and the foreman and the clerk of works all rolled into one. So he didn't have to bother with asking people questions or permission to do things. He just carried on and did it in his own way.
And so he got builders in?
He had his own team of builders,
yes.
A stonemason and his son and craftsmen, carpenters and so on. And they worked with him more or less from the beginning. I mean, Tom Davis worked with him from about 1930 onwards and has just recently passed away, but remembers building most of the buildings here with him. So they were a very skilled team and got to grips with many different architectural styles because Clough was quite eclectic in his choice of styles, really.
Yeah, we can see the difference here. Just take us round then, Robin. You've got this style here, you've got a different style
yes.
there, but let's start with this over here.
Well, the first building here is the old stable block, which is a sort of traditional building which has been cleft up, as they say, by putting a few embellishments on it and a false window and so on. Then you come to the Gloriette, which was inspired by Schoenberg, and that's a sort of architectural explosion. Then you see some typical sort of domes, the Onion Dome and various monuments. The actual dome itself was built in 1958. That's
one that looks like St Paul's or the White House
yes.
or the Vatican.
That's right, yes. It was originally roofed in plywood because Clough found copper was too expensive and he painted it green to look like copper, but we've recently redone that.
And here it looks very Bavarian to me. You know,
yes, there's quite a lot. I mean, a lot of people call the place Italianate, but there is a lot of Austrian, at any rate, if not Bavarian, influence as well as the Italianate influence, and especially in the colours and so on.
Yes, yes. The sun's shining through brilliantly now and lighting up all of these fantastic colours. And these colours, I mean, apart from being very me, was obviously your grandfather's, shall we say, experiences from abroad, because in the Mediterranean, they don't have any problem about colour as we do in Britain, do we?
Well, here at Port Marion, he felt he was at liberty to use any colour and style that he wanted, and he wanted the place to be colourful, and that you would feel when you got here that it was sort of slightly more sunny and warm than it was outside.
Yes.
But when he built in the immediate surrounding area, he didn't build in this style. He would use the traditional granite walls and slate roofs. So wherever he built outside of Port Marion, he was quite traditional.
Did he actually build many places outside of here?
Oh, he did, yes, a great deal. In the archive, there are about 2,500 of his drawings. He built a lot in North Wales, a lot in Northern Ireland, the Cotswolds, and he had a very long career. I mean, from Llangoed Hall in Brecon, which was one of the last major country houses built in the UK, that was done in 1912 to 13, to chapels, cinemas. He built a great deal.
And people wouldn't realise that, would they? They would probably think it was just this and that was it.
This is right. I mean, this is one of the slight problems, that Port Marion's celebrity has tended to overshadow his other works. He would have liked to have been known, most of all, for his work as a conservationist and as a campaigner for the preservation of the countryside, as a founder member of the CPRE and CPRW, as an active member of the National Trust, as one of the campaigners for the establishment of national parks, and so on. And so his message was very much one of sustainable development and the preservation of the countryside.
Right. Well, the Campanile, the bell tower, is one of my favourites.
Well, yes, this was quite an early one. This was late 20s. He wanted to show that something was happening here, and he thought he better build something quite striking, just to be a marker for the future, and for something to build the village around. And
well, he certainly did that. Now tell us a little bit about the Castell.
Castell Deutraeth, this was built in about 1850 by David Williams, who was a local solicitor and land developer and property developer. and he named it after the medieval Castell Deutraeth, which was built in the woods here by the sons of Cynnan, and that was about 1188. It's a castellated folly, really, and he made a lot of money in the slate industry and reclaiming land and so on.
It's a bit of a ruin at the moment.
It's a ruin at the moment, and we have plans which have already got planning permission to redevelop that now as a downstairs informal brasserie type restaurant, and above it'll have 11 spacious suites with slate floors in the corridors, oak panelled floors in the rooms, and oak panelling around, and sort of very much in the style of the building, and that'll be opening in at Easter 2000.
We're looking at the castle now. It'll be a real transformation.
It's going to be quite spectacular, I think, and quite an important embellishment to the whole of the village.
Well, this is the room that I've stayed in, and as you can see, Sir Clough's influence is absolutely everywhere. Because of this love of the exotic, of places that he visited, or perhaps didn't even visit, but read in travel books, heard from other travellers who he met socially. You've got this room which is so Indian that you could actually be in a Raj's palace somewhere in, who knows, New Delhi, Calcutta, Bombay, Simla, you name it. But there's no way that you would think that looking out of that window, you're looking at the Welsh countryside and not in somewhere in the subcontinent. Now, this is our cameraman, Hilwyn. I want you to all to know that Chris came in from filming that last sequence out there and left that there. Come on, close up of that. And he actually said, Hilwyn, was that me? And it was him, because he's never ever wrong, he thinks. What have you got to say to him, Hilwyn? Speaking to my chest. Go on. What have you got to say? Would you like him to have a dustpan and brush?
Yes.
Definitely. That's it.
No, doesn't matter.
She's a nice girl. Thanks, Cariad.
Oh, I'm going home to tell my mum now.